I don't make mistakes.
If you're not making money from your phone right now, you are probably slow.
Think of people who play video games.
I think if you're playing them recreationally, you're the biggest fucking loser of all time.
Use generative AI for creative ventures like writing or music or art. You are such a loser. You loser. You loser freak. You boring loser brainless freak.
People that are against AI are the self-righteous losers that think it's just ChatGPT that writes emails and does homework for you.
President Donald Trump is the best president of the United States in history.
Apparently, everybody's right, except they can't all be right. Can they? And it's not just the famous influencers, it's all of us. But why? Because the internet doesn't care if you're right. This is Hank Green, one of the biggest educators on the internet. You probably watched him in your high school classroom at some point. Throughout his career, he has been widely respected. That was until a few weeks ago.
In there that matters, and that's very cool. A better way to say it. And I appreciate the pushback. And I appreciate the pushback.
This was on July 29th, 2026. The statement, "I appreciate the pushback," sounded like something from ChatGPT, according to his audience. He was, in fact, talking to nobody. Hank issued a long response. It was nuanced. He defended himself, saying that particular moment in his script was an AI, but he also admitted that he's been using AI too much. Hank Green was not only apologizing, but seeing both sides. But the response was the complete opposite. Quickly, two sides were forming. One was hypercritical. They felt that their trust had been broken and that any authenticity that Hank once had was gone. These people believe that using AI is lazy and catastrophic, and anyone using it cannot be trusted. The other side disagreed. They felt that he was optimizing his workflow, being more efficient, and adopting the technology. These people believe that AI is the future and that if you don't adapt to it, you will be lost. But is the truth not somewhere in the middle? Is it impossible that both things could be true at the same time? That AI can be both positive and negative? Creators like Colin and Samir point at the lack of nuance in this discussion and hope that situations like these can help return the internet to a place where not everything is so black and white. But most of the internet doesn't behave like this. Most creators, influencers, celebrities, and audiences, they're right, and they're certain about it. Two of them have built their entire followings on this principle, and despite being in the same niche, disagree with each other completely.
What's interesting is that, like, if you work 100 times harder, you can sometimes get like 1,000,000 times the payout.
This is Alex Hormozi, and he's built his entire brand on one philosophy: work more than everyone else. At 37 years old, he's one of the biggest entrepreneurs on the internet, with millions of followers online and hundreds of millions in his bank accounts. For Alex, his mindset has worked. This video itself is part of a second channel that is uploading clips every single hour of the day, and that's just on one of his channels.
We make 450 pieces of content a week.
But Tim Ferris disagrees.
An epidemic, and I do mean epidemic in this country, of information abuse and information addiction.
A 49-year-old entrepreneur, Tim has over 6 million followers across social channels and a net worth of $50 to $100 million. He published the book, The 4-Hour Workweek. He rejects Hormozi's ideologies and argues that extended work hours are a result of operational failure and cultural conditioning. While Alex says to work 80 to 100 hours per week, Tim says to work 4. While Alex views hardship as part of your identity, Tim says it represents operational failure. Both built massive businesses, sold them to private equity, and then built personal brands. Both have written books, both love to educate, both have become investors, and yet they disagree. Who do you trust? But this certainty doesn't only apply to business. It forms entire industries, and in no industry is it clearer than in fitness. Let's say that hypothetically I am overweight. One day, I wake up, look in the mirror, and I hate what I see back. I've decided, you know what? Today is the day that I change things. I want to start working out. Where's the first place that I'm going to look? Let's use YouTube as an example. I type best workout for beginners. Do I listen to Joe Delancey? Or what about Jeff Nippard? Or what about Athlete X? He says he has the perfect beginner workout. Or what about Tyler Path? He has the best upper body workout. Who do I pick? I'm overwhelmed. If I wanted to, I could scroll through hundreds of these videos claiming that they have the perfect solution to my problem. They would take hours to watch, but how else would I know if I'm getting the right information? What if some of them are scams? I need someone to follow, someone to trust. And what's the best way for these influencers to build trust on social media? Through certainty. But is certainty what will help me lose weight? Certainty doesn't just populate the fitness world. It's everywhere, in the dating niche too.
Most men, if left to their own devices, want to have sex with as many women as possible.
Do you think you're conditioned though, just to see sex
Like, that's all men.
Myron Gaines is a dating influencer and host of the Fresh and Fit podcast. And he, of course, has his own philosophy on dating that he's certain about. After all, he's garnered him 1.6 million subscribers on his podcast and a loyal fan base.
I'll keep it real since you don't want to. Most guys, I'll be honest, are fat, losers, and don't have leadership qualities. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. And most women, quite frankly, are terrible.
Some other certainties include that interactions between men and women are purely exchange-based, modern feminism has ruined gender roles, and that relationships should be authoritative. And of course, polygamy, where one man should be with multiple women. But this philosophy hasn't always worked for him, despite his certainty around it.
Maybe there's a world where you would have more than one wife, right?
She understands that. She knows that could potentially come down in the future.
What do you say about that?
I don't know.
This was Myron featured on the Netflix documentary The Manosphere by Louis Theroux, which was released in March of 2026. And within a few short minutes, Louis is able to break the facade down, leaving Myron with no choice but to dismiss his girlfriend, at the time Angie, to go clean their room. As someone who's built a large social media platform and educates on this very subject matter, you would assume that his own philosophy works, right? That his girlfriend would accept his terms? For someone who markets himself as the alpha male, this doesn't seem very alpha. But Myron isn't the only one who contradicts himself. In fact, there's another example right in the documentary. HS Tiki-Taki, another influencer with 700,000 followers and a live streaming channel on Kick. While he shames women who do sex work and calls OnlyFans disgusting, he himself runs an OnlyFans management agency. While he tells men to never be in a long-term relationship or engage in degenerate activity, he actively promotes these women and degenerate activity to the men that follow him. His certainty is so blinding that he can't even see his contradiction. And unfortunately, his audience can't see it either. For most people, certainty has only made them rich or famous. But sometimes there are greater consequences. Andrew Tate was certain too. By this point, you know who Andrew Tate is, and his entire brand has been built on certainty.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you. You're only going to be cared about based on how useful you are.
If you're a young man who has a question concerning anything about reality, Andrew Tate has the answer for you. He preaches that women can't drive, that a woman's value is completely proportional to her youth, beauty, and submission, and that there is a global matrix trying to destroy masculinity. These polarizing claims of certainty have allowed him to gain immense power on the internet, where he funneled all of this new attention into his program, Hustlers University, an online education platform. However, Andrew Tate seems to have fulfilled his own prophecy. While he was already arrested once in 2022, on July 18th, 2026, while in Miami, he was arrested for a second time over new charges of rape and sex trafficking from the United Kingdom. While Andrew Tate's certainty allowed him to gain immense power and influence, it also led to his arrest and jail time, which doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. So what is going on here? How did all of these influencers accumulate massive followings, and how did all of them do it by not telling the truth? Well, social media doesn't really optimize for truth. In fact, it has a completely different optimization metric that gives people power. The United States National Academy of Sciences, or NAS, published a paper that tested what kind of impact moral and emotional language has on how content is distributed across social media. They found that the inclusion of moral emotional language in a post increases the likelihood of it being shared or retweeted by 20%. If you see a post and it triggers your emotions, whether curiosity, anger, happiness, you're gonna like it, you're gonna comment on it, you're gonna share it, you're gonna watch it longer. And social media's goal for you is to stay on the platform. That's how they make money. The truth, which is more modest and less triggering, is gonna be penalized in the feeds. You're not gonna interact with it. You're gonna be bored, leave the platform, and do something else. Philosopher C. Tai Nguyen, an associate professor at the University of Utah, provides an excellent framework that explains how these platforms distort communication by gamifying it. In his research report, How Twitter Gamifies Communication, he writes, "The technology invites us to focus our cares on the narrow task of going viral, and that goal is in tension with our interest of having morally sensitive and open-hearted communication. If I'm new to content, and I want to sell my products, gain more followers, get more views, etc., I will adhere to what the algorithm rewards me for. If I posted 50 videos with 500 views, and all of a sudden my post reaches 100,000 views, I'm obviously going to do more of that. That's how I'm going to win. And for most, they might not even realize that it's in sacrifice of the truth. There are too many positive reinforcers in the form of likes, comments, shares, and money. On a macro perspective, this is a perfect representation of Goodhart's law, which was formulated by British economist Charles Goodhart in 1975. It reads, "When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. If every creator optimizes around likes, comments, shares, and saves, and optimizing around those means that you are replacing truth with certainty and absolute claims that get better attention, then of course you get Andrew Tate, of course you get Myron Gaines. The most powerful people on the internet are the ones who have mastered this system, the ones who know how to manipulate emotions, the ones who can get you to stay on the platform longer. They post with certainty, and when they are rewarded for it, they double down. And over time, the creators themselves might mistake their personal perspectives for universal reality because their overconfidence and certainty is rewarded so highly by social media. But we may be a part of the problem too. As I was doing research on Andrew Tate for this video, something strange happened.
That's not a matter of discussing whether depression is real or not. That's a matter of me accepting that my mental model for going through life is more effective if I don't believe I can become a depressed person. I don't believe in depression, so I can't be depressed, so that allows me to be more effective.
Notice what Andrew says. My mental model for going through life is more effective if I believe I can't become a depressed person. I see how this could be interpreted as Andrew Tate not believing in depression, but he's actually saying something more complex. He's saying he's built a mental model for himself in which it benefits him not to believe in it. But notice the caption. Andrew Tate says depression isn't real. How many times a day are social media posts optimized through certainty by both creators and clippers alike? Probably millions. Even if Andrew Tate does say something nuanced, that's not what will trend on social media. The certainty will, and that benefits the clippers just as much as the creator. You could even say that I'm guilty of it too. What was the title of this video? Not a nuanced statement. What were the first 10 seconds of this video saying? A statement about nuance that wasn't nuanced. There surely has to be someone to blame for this, right? Do we blame the platforms? The ones who put the system in place, likely knowingly, and because it's made them so much money, they don't care? Do we blame the creators and the clippers who are taking advantage of the system and are either not aware of their certainty or they are but don't actually care? Do we blame the audience? Do we blame us, the ones who engage with the content and take nuanced states like the one from Hank and immediately misinterpret it? It would be easy for me to paint all of these people as the villains, but wouldn't that also just be certainty? The truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. In some way, probably everyone is to blame. We have all played a role in this. Luckily, there are some things we can do. Not every creator only speaks with certainty. Justin Walsh is one of them, and every Saturday he writes to his audience of 200,000 entrepreneurs. He offers a solution on the individual level. I've started applying a simple filter to everything online. If I see a declarative topic, I scroll by and don't participate. Anything that's worth understanding is worth the full version. Justin wants us to have awareness. If when we scroll, we see something that is clearly declarative and certain, have the awareness to not engage. The certainty will try to suck us in, to keep watching. We must fight it. Or when we consume it, we think about how it applies to our lives. We add our own context and nuance. Even Alex Hormozi knows this.
Like, what is the appropriate amount to mourn? Is there a book that says this is the correct way? According to whom? Based on what? They will thrust their shit on you. They will put these expectations, they will put these labels on you, and then you will confine yourself by these words that you never defined and neither did they, and you will make real choices in your life that have real consequences based on words that do not matter, based on opinions of people who never even thought about what they were saying.
And of course, there are creators who don't declare their certainty. Platforms like Substack, email lists, and even YouTube allow for long-form creators to write with nuance simply because they have more time to capture attention. The topic can't get compressed into 30 seconds like it is on short form. Justin Walsh is one of them, but others that I recommend are Dan Cohen Business, Logan Ury in Dating, or Michael Easter in Fitness. While these creators still have to capture attention and adhere to the platform, At least they write from a higher perspective. One that allows us to add our own nuance and context to their work, that makes us think about our own lives and how to improve, and most importantly, is aimed towards truth, even if it can never fully be reached. Certainty will always spread faster than truth, but you get to decide which one you trust.